Autumn is such a great time in the garden because there's so many fun jobs to do before the winter chill kicks in. Top of my list today is to plan for future pops of colour, and here is a clue. It's no secret I'm a huge fan of the colour pink. Look around and it's hard to miss. Pink flowers, our pink house, and even pink hair. So, what's not to love about a pink flowering feature tree? I reckon every garden needs at least one statement tree. And while my garden has a whole lot of trees, which I love, I haven't actually got a feature tree. So today, I'm going to plant a hot pink number. It's a crepe myrtle and it's going in right at our front gate, so it can be our welcome tree every time we come home. Crepe myrtles are great trees. They thrive in a variety of climates and soil types, can get by on little water, and have the triple appeal of long-lasting flowers, autumnal colour as the leaves drop, and shiny, iridescent bark when the leaves have fallen. And they generally don't get too big, usually topping out at between 4 or 5 metres. Plant breeders have been hard at work, and these days crepe myrtles are available in a variety of shapes and colours. There's a real rainbow from white, lavender, reds and, you guessed it, multiple shades of pink. Autumn is a great time to plant trees as there's still some warmth in the soil, but none of the heat stress that can come in the warmer months. I'm digging a hole as wide as the pot the crepe myrtle's in, and a little bit deeper. Plus, I'm sloping the edges. It's almost a wok shape that I'm after. Before the plant goes in, I'm watering well to help give it a good head start. I'm going to gently nurse the tree out of the pot. Oh yeah, and you can see it's got quite a lot of roots there. It's a little bit root bound. So we're going to give it a tickle, which is another way of saying give it a root prune. And that will help activate more growth in its new home. And now I'm backfilling. Add a bit more water and there you go. Over the next couple of years it's going to spring into hot pink blooms, ready to welcome everybody into our garden. I can't wait to watch it grow. So next on my list, they're not pink, but they will be a lovely shade of purple, are my 2 young wisteria vines, which are ready for a bit of autumn TLC. Now these 2 vines, they've only been in the ground for around 1 year, so they're very young. So right now it's more about training them to make my life easier later on, and some minor pruning to make sure I get a good array of flowers. When you're using a ladder, safety is always number 1. Make sure it's on flat, stable ground. If you're going up really high, it's worth tying it down up top if you can. Come on, love. And to be extra safe, get someone to hold the ladder to make sure it's nice and steady. Today, I've got my sweetheart Anton helping. Never climb past the second highest ladder rung and never straddle the top of an A-frame ladder. I'm pruning off the dead wood and some of the wispy bits. Wisterias flower on second-year wood, so prune the existing growth back to around 4 leaves or 150 millimetres from the old stem, and this is where the new flower buds will form. I'm twisting the vines around a steel rod in the direction that I want them to grow in. Lastly, I'm using a bit of jute twine to tie them down to make sure they're nice and secure. Last on my autumn job list is to dig up and store some of my dahlia tubers. I went big on dahlias this year, planting many dozens, and you guessed it, some of them were pink. But their glory has well and truly died back now, leaving just the underground tubers, which I'm about to dig up and store safely until we replant them in spring. In warmer climates, dahlia tubers will generally survive the winter in the ground and come back year after year. You only really dig them up in order to subdivide them to make new plants. But in climates with wet and long winters, it's safer to lift and store your dahlias to prevent them from rotting in the cold, wet conditions. I can just ease the whole clump out nice and gently because they're quite brittle. They can break quite easily. Oh, and then you can have a look to see how many you've got in here. You've got lots of tubers. I'm going to work all this soil off, let them dry out in the sun for a couple of days or so. Then I'll gently separate them and store them in a bucket of sawdust in my cool and dry and dark shed. When you're dividing your dry tubers, you want each tuber to have at least one eye. That's this little bump here, and that's where the growth point is. Come spring, I'm going to plant all these back into the garden again, where there's going to be a flurry of blossoms overwhelming the garden with lots of colours, including pinks.